Story 1. Jake Paul is using the phrase "I am going to disrespect my way to the top of the world." Story 2. Glorifying celebrities and treating them like gods is problematic. I understand being a fan, but you do not have to build your entire livelihood around a celebrity or try to emulate them. This is how people who should not hold power can end up in positions of authority. Story 3. Public grieving and berating those who do not grieve publicly. When Chadwick Boseman died, people hounded his co-stars about their responses. When Malik B of The Roots died, Questlove found out after being spammed on Twitter by strangers. Imagine finding out that one of your closest friends had died because strangers wanted an immediate response from you. Story 4. Making young children into social media stars is problematic. It is fine to share pictures of your children with friends, but aggressively documenting and marketing your family life for the public at large is creepy. Story 5. The reaction it provokes in me is more cringe than anger, but I am sick of videos titled X reacts to Y. It's embarrassing to see people act out reactions just to please viewers of the original content. Story 6. It seems like everything must be posted on social media. I have to tell family members explicitly not to post about family events on social media. For example, someone tried to announce on Facebook that I had become engaged before I had told close family and friends who were not present, and they became defensive when I asked them not to post it. Story 7. I am so glad the licking things at the store trend is finally over. Story 8. Family vloggers horrify me. The idea of exploiting children's lives for views is especially disturbing. Because it is a relatively new phenomenon, there are no clear laws addressing child labor or exploitation in this context. Some YouTubers live in mansions worth millions of dollars earned by filming their toddlers and forcing them to perform for strangers. I cannot imagine the psychological repercussions this will have on these children in the future. Story 9. The celebration of bad attitudes, habits, and toxic traits. People would rather be praised as a villain than remain anonymous. They prefer notoriety and entertainment to obscurity. Story 10. Allowing young children to use social media unsupervised is unsafe. They are not equipped to handle it, and many conflicts arise as a result. Story 11. This has not been as big a deal for the last year or so, but there is a lack of basic etiquette around invitations and making plans. People often wait until the last minute to respond, and some cancel or do not show up without letting you know. Story 12. Advertising is slowly taking over every aspect of our lives. I am not exaggerating when I say over 90% of the postal mail and phone calls I get are junk or scams. Data we generate simply by being online is sold to the highest bidder without any real way of stopping it, which in turn fuels more advertisements. If you have shopped more than once at a larger grocery store, you now receive suspiciously tailored coupons by mail and by email even though you do not remember ever giving them your address, which means it is probably linked to your credit card and banking information. The internet is great for knowledge if you look in the right places and allows discovery of fascinating things, but it sometimes feels like we sold our souls to someone for it. Story 13. The rapid spread of misinformation through social media is dangerous and deeply troubling. Story 14. You cannot simply buy things outright anymore. Everything is a subscription. First it was just Netflix, then Dollar Shave Club. Now every television channel requires a separate subscription, and manufacturers want to send household items to you on a recurring basis. Nothing is released physically, so the only way to watch a movie or check out a new album is to pay someone monthly. Services that were once free or available as a one-time purchase have been rescinded and replaced by subscriptions. It is obvious that companies want to extract as much money as possible for as long as possible, and people buy into it willingly. I know people who spend $200 a month on things that were free 10 years ago. People are even offering themselves on a subscription basis now. I cannot believe how comfortable people are with watching their money disappear. Story 15. 1. Everyone has a right to a voice on the internet, but not everyone deserves a following, authority, or influence. Just because you paid off your car does not mean you are qualified to become a financial coach. 2. Couples staging pranks on each other that are obviously fake. They keep reproducing the same popular trends. Do you need to act so shocked the 10th time your partner pretends to strip in front of the camera but actually has clothes under a towel? Are you really that surprised? I blocked those videos. I cannot imagine people have that much time. 3. Recording people in need for clout. Story 16. Social media influencers ask for free items unsolicited. When declined, they sometimes threaten or actually leave negative reviews, forcing the company to respond to false allegations without cause. Story 17. The notion that everyone must hustle and have a side hustle is wrong. It assumes we should be cheap used car salespeople hawking our wares with no shame or sense of self-respect. It also frustrates me when people assume that because you are good at something or enjoy it, you will also be good at and enjoy marketing and selling it. Those are two completely different skill sets. Story 18. Driving while on a cell phone. Driving has always been a little frustrating, but now it has become insane. My girlfriend and I can identify who is on their phone with at least 90% accuracy. Abrupt lane changes, driving 20 miles per hour under the speed limit, swerving, looking at a phone and missing a green light for more than 5 seconds, and my personal pet peeve, stopping 50 feet short of a light in a busy intersection during rush hour. Not only is phone use common, but the entitlement that comes with it is universal. When someone waits at a green light for more than 5 seconds, I give a short honk to alert them and they respond with the middle finger. Yes, I must be the idiot here because I can see you playing on your phone through your back windshield. The other day, a woman pulled across 2 rows of parked cars in a lot, and I had to slam on the brakes to avoid hitting her. Instead of apologizing, she got out of the car, still in the middle of the lane, and remained on FaceTime while filming me. It has gotten so bad that I see no real solution other than recording these people and their license plates and sending the footage to the local police. Edit. People sharing ways to make it look like they are not driving perpetuate this behavior. Story 19. This is work-related, but it bothers me that there is now a work culture of always being reachable by electronic mail or text for anything that happens. Many places expect you to be essentially on call even when you are no longer at the office. I worked at an advertising agency where days off sometimes did not feel like days off because I continued to receive messages and was expected to check them. There should be a balance between work and personal life, but that balance seems to be fading as it becomes socially acceptable to adopt this culture. Story 20. Posting infographics about certain topics to try to prove you are educated. Story 21. The whole Instagram influencer thing. Why are we following these people? Story 22. In general, it is the fact that people are no longer allowed to be private. All of your devices connect to the internet. Your smartphone tracks you in ways you cannot see. Every business asks you to sign up for a rewards account so they can harvest your contact details. Even my personal computer and game consoles rearrange my desktop to show advertisements. People give you strange looks when you tell them you have almost no social media presence. No Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook. They look confused when I get upset because someone took a photo or video of me without my knowledge or consent and posted it on social media. Honestly, it surprises me how little people care that privacy is disappearing. Story 23. I don't think it pisses me off, but it baffles me. The heavy social media presence of ordinary people. I can't, for the life of me, understand why I'd follow some random person I've never met. I have actual people in my life and I'm interested in them. A couple of days ago, I first heard the term momfluencers. Seriously? Why would I base my children's upbringing on the opinions of some person whose main attribute is that she has time to do this? I have a minimal social media presence because why would anybody care to follow me? This isn't low self-esteem. It's just reality. I'm an average person, and I know it. I don't fool myself into thinking the world at large would benefit from knowing what I think or do on any given day. I don't know if social media creates narcissistic people or if it just reveals them. Thanks for the awards. Story 24. Having an opinion about everything, even if you do not know anything about the subject. Story 25. Entertainment has consumed everything. Politics, personal relationships, and sexual intimacy. The yardstick is no longer how good are you at something, but how good a show are you putting on? Edit. This received far more attention than anything I have ever posted. I guess I touched a nerve. Thanks to everyone on the internet who freely and generously contributed their words to the cause. Story 26. I'd really rather not hear about how much money everyone claims to have. It's depressing, and I know I should ignore it and focus on myself. Story 27. Some people think their lives must be viewed to be lived. Privacy is seen as repressive. People are always online, posting and seeking validation for every aspect of life. Just live your life. Story 28. Taking Instagram pictures and Snapchat stories of everything. Sure, your online persona will look like the cool kid, but people at a party who just lift up their phones to record every time something happens look really dumb. Just live in the moment. Story 29. Entitled social media influencers who contact businesses and demand free goods or services in exchange for exposure. Story 30. Influencers. I cannot stand the term. It gives anyone who thinks they are famous a feeling of superiority. Plus, everyone seems to be an influencer and not actually engaging in real life. Grr. Story 31. Nobody is allowed to have hobbies anymore. If it is not a hustle, you should be doing something else according to society. It is infinitely frustrating. When I get off work, I am going to play some damn video games and relax. I am not going to worry about my side hustle. Story 32. Spontaneous FaceTime calls. I'm in my goddamn underwear. Stop shoving cameras in my face. I mean, when someone nearby starts a FaceTime call and assumes you want to join. Story 33. People recording themselves performing charitable acts, such as buying a meal or giving money to a homeless person, are often seeking clout. The person receiving help does not want their face on social media. If you want to help the less fortunate, do it without recording or sharing their image. Story 34. Over-the-top pranks that involve staged violence or scaring passers-by seem like a surefire way to traumatize someone. I have post-traumatic stress disorder and it is not fun. Story 35. The idea that if you don't have Instagram and don't document your entire existence, you're a nobody with no life who lives under a rock is absurd. Since I deleted my social media accounts, my life has become far more fulfilling and enjoyable than worrying about how many people view my story or like my photo of what I ate for breakfast. Edit. I should clarify. By social media, I mean Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and Twitter. Reddit, in my opinion, is an anonymous platform for reading certain information and is still social media. I am truly sorry for the misunderstanding. Story 36. Social media posting is life. This drives me bonkers. Why do people feel compelled to share every detail of their lives and every thought with their friends and followers? Comes off as desperate and sad, in my opinion. Story 37. Basing your entire identity around political parties that do not even represent your interests. Story 38. You cannot do a good deed unless you are recording it for social media. Story 39. I hate the way social media has dominated everyday conversations. I have distanced myself from certain people because they actually reference their social media as if it were a news source. When I asked how things were, they said they had a new job, but it had been rough and that they had been talking about it constantly on Facebook and asked me to look. I was done. Story 40. TikTok and YouTube beauty challenges, whether intended to normalize behavior or encourage self-acceptance, often seem like creators are showing off how attractive they are. Story 41. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry on the internet asks me to create an account with an email and password just to access a page. No, Donnie's Discount Lawn Furniture. I do not want to be part of your mailing list or subscribe to your Instagram or anything else. I just want to check the price of a chair and leave immediately. Story 42. Using your real name, images, or location on social media is risky. Generation Zers were repeatedly warned not to share personal information online, and it made sense. Today's kids often post videos that reveal their appearance, location, and possessions, which invites trouble. Story 43. Going on vacation for the evidence rather than the experience. Social media has exposed every interesting place and hidden gem, which is fine in theory, but it means everything is more crowded. Instead of enjoying the moment, people focus on snapping photos and moving on to the next target. I saw the Mona Lisa before the coronavirus disease 2019 pandemic and expected a crowded mess, shuffling through a line for an hour to have 30 seconds to look at the painting. It was depressing to see most people reach the painting, turn around, take a selfie, and move on without another glance. They saw the painting only through their phone screens. Story 44. People who film homeless people's reactions to being given food, money, clothing, or other items are exploiting them. Being filmed while accepting help is demeaning. Their lives are hard enough. Story 45. Weddings have become expensive, choreographed social media productions worthy of Busby Berkeley. These spectacles empty pocketbooks and ruin friendships. Bridesmaids and groomsmen are expected to spend thousands of dollars and use up vacation time for multiple trips, while guests are told what color to wear. It is madness. Story 46. Participating in a dangerous challenge can result in injury, imprisonment, or worse. Examples include the Tide Pod Challenge, the Coronavirus Challenge, the Ice Cream Challenge, and so on. Story 47. Turning depression and anxiety into an aesthetic people feel they need. Story 48. Rant time. Modern people, including most of the people I've dated, get angry when I don't reply immediately. Why were you ignoring me, bro? I wasn't. I'm just not addicted to my phone. People complain that I don't respond right away, yet if you put them all in a room, they cannot look up from their phones to have a real conversation. Why did they ever invent active statuses? It's so annoying when people get mad because I used the calculator on my phone, then saw I was on my phone and immediately assumed I was ignoring them. I was at work. I didn't even notice your stupid bubble. Story 49. Do not forget to like and subscribe. One like equals one prayer. Please fuck right off with that shit. Story 50. Faking mental illnesses on TikTok needs to stop. It is not funny or quirky. It is disrespectful, in my opinion. Story 51. The politicization of everything and people doing things solely to show which political ideology they support. Story 52. I see many doctors on TikTok and Instagram making videos about do's and don'ts for patients, and I do not feel comfortable with that. It makes me wary of seeing a physician because I am afraid they will judge me. Educating the public is one thing. Ridiculing patients' experiences because of things they do not know is another, and it should not be permitted by employers. Story 53. Anti-vaccination. When vaccines were first developed, they were mostly seen as a scientific breakthrough, a great success and the wonders of mankind's power and ingenuity. Polio? What polio? But now it is trendy for many to believe they are smarter than years of research and hard work to know more in 10 minutes on YouTube than someone who has dedicated years of their life to study what others before them also studied for years. Years of human evolution, growth, study, breakthroughs, and accomplishments are brought to a halt by someone with a social media account. Story 54. Public shaming is terrifying. The blind rage of an anonymous crowd can ruin your life in hours. Story 55. Playing music or watching videos in public without headphones is inconsiderate. If I go to a park or the beach, I want to hear the wind, the waves, and the birds singing, not whatever obnoxious noise you feel you have the right to subject everyone to. Story 56. Corporations think they are entitled to your time. Everything you buy, every service you use, and every place you visit asks you to rate your experience or leave feedback. If you are not paying me, I will not devote any time or energy to helping you improve your business. That should be obvious, but somehow it is no longer the norm. Story 57. Mommy wine culture normalizes drinking to tolerate one's children. As a mother who does not drink, I find this trend sad. Story 58. How much we glorify being a workaholic. It seems like everyone is expected to be insanely passionate about their job, as if that is what they have always wanted to be. People are so driven that they constantly talk about how busy they are and how much they hustle and so on. It has reached the point where it spawned that terrible life hack trend that is about freeing up time to work more. Must everything be so efficient? Sometimes I just enjoy staring out the window on my commute or waking up slowly on a weekend morning. It is perfectly okay to work a job you are just fine with in order to put food on the table and to have access to health insurance and so on. Story 59. When people romanticize mental illness and disorders, I see comments like, "Oh, I wish I had Tourette syndrome. It seems fun." Or, I wish I had depression so I could have an excuse to be sad. Tics are not fun. Depression really sucks. You do not want these conditions. Also, when people self-diagnose without thorough research, they will say, "Oh, I have obsessive-compulsive disorder," just because they like to line up their pencils. That is not what obsessive-compulsive disorder is. Story 60. Non-stop consumption. Everything is designed to be consumed and then discarded. Few products are well made, and people act as if you are insane for having a phone that is more than 3 years old. The modern attention span has been decimated. Information goes in one ear and out the other with nothing actually learned. Story 61. How people try to destroy you or simply frown upon you when you don't join whatever bandwagon they're on. Story 62. Another example of mine is plain clothing, like a t-shirt, where the only design is a large graphic of the brand logo. I see this a lot with Gucci. People are literally paying hundreds of dollars to be walking advertisements for a company. Story 63. Jokingly saying you have obsessive-compulsive disorder or attention deficit disorder just because you like tidying up or getting distracted. If you actually have those conditions, they affect most aspects of how you live your life. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.